we're going to be sharing some great tips with you over the next 45 minutes. So you might want your notepads and your pens ready to take lots of notes. The things that we are going to be sharing with you, so you're going to hear from myself and G and Sarah, who are two of my leaders as well. And everything we're going to be running through with you is all stuff that we work in our business all of the time that's helped us grow and develop and helped us create a really great team spirit within our groups as well. So it's lots of practical information, lots of how-tos, and lots of information about why it's so important as well. So I'm coming up to I've been in for about 6.5 years now actually, and it's absolutely flown by. My background was in retail. I had a wedding dress shop, loved it, was my absolute dream. Some of you might know my mum, Jan Whittaker, and my sister, you'll probably know Natalie Healy as well. But no matter how much I'd watched them, seen what they'd achieved, didn't want to start forever myself at all. My dress shop was my absolute dream. Until children came along, everything changed. I needed that flexibility. It was too stressful, overheads, etc. So I eventually saw forever for what it was and what it could offer. So I've built a huge business in forever, needs to still get huger, which is the exciting bit. I've got 5 fabulous frontline managers and lots of managers sort of deeper down in those generations and legs as well. And the way that I've created those managers is through team spirit and through events at home. So my team is predominantly local. I have lots of people in my area who I work with really closely. The world is a very small place now, so I do have a global team as well. I've got a big team over in France and people dotted around the UK as well. But the reason I love building locally is for the team spirit. It's how I work most naturally around my kitchen table. So when I started, my daughter was 4 months old and my little boy was 2. So I needed a business at my fingertips that fitted around our busy schedule. So that worked best for me around my kitchen table. I naturally started networking with people that I knew, my who do you know list. I've been in the same area for most of my life, so that's where most of my network was. People I'd been to school with, people I'd worked with, neighbours, friends, etc. They were mostly in my county. And it also allowed me to really build relationships with those people. I went to lots of baby groups, had 2 tiny children, so that's where I was starting to grow that who do you know list as well and meet people in my local area who I could help. And in turn, they saw me developing a business around my kitchen table, bringing up my children and thinking, okay, well, you're doing this and achieving that, you know, how are you doing it? What are you doing? I want to know more. So that's how I started recruiting locally as well. Does anybody ever hear people say, oh, there's already people in my area that do it. There's already a local manager or a top leader in my area. There's not enough room. It must be saturated. I hear that a lot now. In fact, I recruited a girl or a lady last month. Actually, it was this month. And she was getting really excited because she's got loads of friends out in Australia. And she's at our local school. I've recruited quite a few of the mums at school now. So I've got a great little forever buzz at school too. And Nikki said to me, but Sam, you know, there's loads of you at school. There's lots of people in Banbury. I'm going to speak to my friends in Australia. I said, well, Nikki, that's fantastic. But there's still loads of people that don't know us in Banbury or Oxfordshire who know you. So it doesn't really work like that. I've built a soaring manager business in a tiny, tiny little village in Oxfordshire where my sister, Natalie, lives right next door to me. And my mum is just around the corner, same village. But we're all, you know, forever business owners. We've all got big businesses. There's enough customers for all of us, and there's enough people joining our team as well. However, when Natalie did move next door to me a couple of years ago, I probably did buck my ideas up a little bit quicker and work my who do you know list. So use it to your advantage, because if you don't start speaking to those people, other people will as well. But there's absolutely enough room for everybody. So building managers, building team spirit has very much come from home. The leaders in my business, the managers, the people that are getting their supervisor promotions, their assistant manager promotions, have all been coming to events that I've ran from home. Because it's simple, because it's duplicatable, it's not, they don't have to spend money on going to big events. It literally is around the kitchen table or on the sofa, around the coffee table, cup of tea, cup of coffee, low-key, informal. They attend these events because they like to be part of it. They like to make friends, and they see that everybody's going through the same thing as them as well. So it's a positive environment for people to come together, to learn the skills that are needed in our business, in our industry, which to most people is something very, very new. So they hear from other people that other people are doing the same things as well. And it gets away from those outside people who don't always understand what we do and brings those people together. So they start to grow and flourish and building confidence because they're not on their own, although it's your own business. They invest in themselves and they duplicate this as well. So shortly you'll be hearing from Sara and G, who came along to my home sizzles, to my home events, and they've now gone on to do that themselves as well. So it's very much about believing in each other and seeing other people achieve. Life is really, really busy. It's really simple to say, oh, you know, I'm working full time. I haven't got time to speak to 5 people today. I haven't got time to do an event. I can't come to Success Day because X, Y, Z. I've had a really busy week. I just need to be at home. We're all like that. I'm a very, very busy mum. Harry and Molly are now 6 and 8, and their schedules are far more hectic than mine are. In fact, my husband's been left in charge of them this weekend. Molly had a party last night. She's got another party this morning. Harry had football training last night, football match this morning. Mark's got golf tomorrow, so he's had to juggle childcare. You know, this is life. Everybody is the same, whether it's children, work commitments, horses, you name it. We've all got lots of things and lots of reasons to not build our business. It might be the ironing. My gosh, the amount of time my ironing's up here, and I'll get to a point where I think, okay, I've run out of clothes, I need to iron something. It's simple to put other things before your business. But through doing events where you're putting people together in a group, you're saving time. So for me, that's another huge plus to having coffee mornings, having sizzles and bringing your team together. So you can be helping maybe 3, 4, 5 people in 1 hour instead of spending 1 hour with 3, 4 or 5 people. And that's obviously 4 or 5 hours rather than the 1. So for me, it's time effective and it works. So what type of home events can you create? The list is absolutely endless. Rolling trainings, I've done this since day one in my business. As soon as I recruited my first team member, Natalie said to me, okay, you need to get them round and start doing the 6-week rolling training. So that's what I did. So you don't need a huge team to be doing these events. If you've got one person, you are that leader. You need to take them, you need to educate them, spend time with them, because you'll know just a little bit more. And the teacher always learns more than the student. So it's really important to get stuck in and to start doing these things. You might do a pamper night or a skincare night for your team so they can grow in confidence and see how they can then go away and do pamper nights for their friends and start building a retail business through doing that. Another thing that we do is 4 case credit parties. So we celebrate the people that have done their 4 case credits. So Natalie and I and a few other managers teamed up. We did afternoon teas or just little fun events where, again, you can bring people together to create those friendships, to be part of something. And it will encourage other people to want to be part of that as well. Home BPs, even group planning meetings. Like I said before, life is very, very busy. Sometimes I'll find myself, with a free morning with a couple of hours to spare. So I'll put on my little group message, hey guys, I'm just doing the school run, but I've actually got a free morning this morning. So you'll find me in Waitrose coffee shop. I'll be there from 9 o'clock. Come along, bring your work bags and we'll just sit and do some work together. So again, it's bringing people together, giving them courage, giving them inspiration, because sometimes people just need to be sat with you to take some steps in order to move forwards. And they'll see other people in the team doing things that perhaps they're not quite brave enough to do yet, and it will empower and encourage those other people as well. Nights out, have fun together. It doesn't always have to be working. So I don't know if any of you have got Christmas parties booked in with your team. We're just going to a local Italian restaurant, so we've got a table booked for about 15 to 20 of us who are all fairly local. We're just going to have dinner, have a few drinks, celebrate, and again, be together, build those friendships, and creating an environment where people don't want to leave. They don't want to walk away from that, so they'll grow their forever businesses and see themselves, achieving the things that they've come to forever for. So what we're going to do now is hand over to Sara Evans, who's going to share with you a little bit more about some of these events, how to put them together, why to put them together, and some of her ideas that you can go away and put into practice straight away as well. So Sarah's a manager in my team. This is her first speaking at a success day, so be kind. I know you all will. And we'll let you fire away, Sarah. I'll let you share your story.
Thank you. Okay, so can everybody hear me? Just give me a thumbs up. Amazing, thank you. So, yes, please be kind. This is my first one today. So my story, I'm actually a personal trainer. I've been in the business now for 3 years. I was actually Sam's personal trainer, and that's how I came into the business. So I actually was on Sam's chicken list. She didn't contact me or speak to me about the business for about 6 months because for some reason us personal trainers have a reputation that we're scary and that we don't believe in these businesses and we don't like the products. But that's totally not the case. I did a C9 and I absolutely loved it, and that's how I came in the business. I was a single mum at the time, 2 teenagers. Anybody that's got teenagers, you know they're really, really expensive. And trying to work on a self-employed basis, I couldn't cope. I wasn't getting to the end of the month with the income that I was earning. I needed to do something different. Sam showed me the business, and that was it. Originally, I only wanted just that few £100s. I had no intention of ever giving up my personal training. I had no aspiration to become a manager or a leader or go for any incentives. But after a few months, my confidence grew. I started attending all of Sam's home events, her sizzles, our 6-week training programme, and I saw what I had my hands on. And from that day, probably about a couple of months in, that was it. I decided I was going for it. Fast forward 3 years, PT is now a hobby for me. I do it because I love it, but this is my main income. This is my career, and this is my lifelong business. So it's my pleasure to run through for you what I do. So this is all what I've duplicated from where I've done when I've gone to Sam's events. So we have coffee mornings. I'm very much the same. I have a local business. So my team are all local. I've got a few across the country, a couple abroad, but most of them are in my hometown. And I love having a kitchen table business. I love inviting people into my home as my guests so they feel part of my business and my life. We might meet in a local coffee shop. There's lots of new ones that are popping up, and actually they're a great way to recruit new people, to find new people for your Who Do You Know list all the time. So we don't always go to the same one. We might do the one for a couple of months and then we'll go and find another one to find new people. And it could be in each other's houses as well. So some of my team have got newborns. So I've got one in the Oranges at the moment. Do you know what I mean? And there's some days that actually she can't get out. She can't go somewhere. So it's like, right, we're all coming to you. You can carry on feeding the baby. Doesn't matter what your house is like. We're popping around and we're going to come and work for an hour. Like Sam said, they could be scheduled every week. Everybody knows it's Tuesday morning, 9:30. And sometimes it could be, like this week, I had a one-to-one that got cancelled. Literally the night before, I said, you know what, who's around tomorrow morning? I've got an hour free now. I'm not going to waste that time. I'm not going to get on and do the housework. Let's get to work. And a couple just met me for coffee and we did an hour of working. And that creates that good mindset, that positive mindset that you're working and that you're not thinking, actually, my one-to-one's cancelled, oh, that's it, my business is going down the drain. You're getting on with something else that's productive. So what do we do on these coffee mornings? We get together and we work. So you'll have 5 minutes chit-chat, bit of a gossip, how's your life? But we will all turn up with our 7-day plans, our 1 to 31 folders, and we will get to work. It might even just be a scrap of paper on who you're going to speak to, but we will spend that hour heads down, sometimes not even speaking, all on their phones, all messaging, all talking, but we get together. It creates accountability. So when you've got somebody next to you that sent 10 messages and you've only sent 1, that makes you work. If you tell somebody what you're going to do, by the time you meet them next week, they're going to check, have you done it? Did you send that message? Did you arrange that event? So it creates that accountability, whereas if you're just sat at home on your own, nobody knows what you should be doing and what you've planned. We also do our chicken list together. So who's got a chicken list? Those people on there that you're scared to speak to. I was on Sam's chicken list. And everybody's got one. But when you're sat with other people that are saying, go on, you can do it. What's the worst that's going to happen? You're only going to get a no. It encourages you to do it. And before you know it, you press send on that message and it's done and you can't back out. So it's a really good way when you're having your coffee mornings to take your chicken list and do it there and then. You support each other, you motivate each other, and you just create that team spirit. Everybody wills you on and wants you to do more. My favourite saying is, your vibe attracts your tribe. So if you're positive and you're uplifting each other, that's the type of people you're going to work with. That's how your team are going to be. If you're negative and the second they turn up and everyone gets together and you all have a whinge and a moan and this has happened and that's happened, that's what's going to run through your business, and your business is going to start to dive rather than thrive. You have firm friends. Some of my best friends are in the business with me now. And some of my team are best friends. They'll meet up. So even without me or anybody else, they'll get together and say, right, are you in? Let's have a coffee. Let's get to work. And the children become best friends. So a lot in my business, I've got young children. They haven't got teenagers like me. So they bring their children along. And then they're asking, Mummy, when are we seeing so-and-so? When can we go for so-and-so's house again and go and play? And again, that makes you want to carry on working. And people start to feel valued. You've got fear of missing out. So whoever looks on social media and sees things that are going on and go, I wish I was there. And that's what you create. So if you create those events with your team, so there's a couple of pictures on there when it's been recruiting mastery. I've had the team round, we've had bubbles and breakfast in the morning, and the rest of the team was like, I want to be there. So the next time they turn up. It also is a really good way to showcase your business online. So I use social media a lot. So I show our team spirit. So I'll show me and Sam working together all the time. I'll show me and my team working together all the time, because people are watching and they're going to want to be part of that team spirit, because I can guarantee most jobs people are in, they don't get that from their job. Other team want to join in and they want to attend next time. And people feel valued. They don't want to leave if you created that firm friendship and team spirit. So Home BPs is another event that I do. And I've actually recruited a lot through Home BPs. I keep them really informal. They're really fun, and it's just an event and it's a get together. So these are how we do them. So, like Sam said earlier, it duplicates your time. So if you've got a Home BP scheduled in for 1 hour, say once a month on a Tuesday night, you could have 10 team members there, even just bring in one guest. That's 10 hours and 10 one-to-ones that could be done in an hour rather than in 10 hours of your time. So imagine if they bring 2 or 3 guests along, how much of your time is being duplicated by doing a Home BP. Your team learn the BP as well. So if they're brand new, it's the perfect way for them to learn. So even if they haven't got guests, they still come along so they can learn it. We take turns in speaking. So again, it gets people out their comfort zone. It gets them learning. Make sure that they're monthly. So again, everybody knows when they're on. It's in the diary. It's ready, just like the BP that you have at Warwick at your head office or wherever you are. You know what your night is and it's in the diary ready. We create different events, so it could be a coffee and cake morning, it could be a business and bubbles night, but you just make it into a big event so it doesn't feel like they're coming along to a formal presentation where they're just going to sit there and just be spoken to all night. And we take turns in hosting as well. So again, it could be in my house, but it will also be in my team members' houses. So you see, well, there's one that we did there, and it was literally a coffee and cake morning. Now, these were lots of mums. I teach a buggy and boot camp class, and all the mums I invited to come along, and my team invited their people as well. And we could made it into an event. The children came along as well. We put on some food, put on some nibbles. We showcased obviously some of the products. We had the aloe on there. And it also meant that our guests saw our team spirit. So as much as they learnt about the business and what it would do for them, more importantly, they learned about the people they were going to work with, the team they were going to get involved with, and how we work, and how by joining us, their lives would become and how their working life would be. They'll see the friendships. So again, because you've got your team round, it's another event, you're building friendships in your team, but those people that are looking at the business are becoming friends as well. So they'll want to be part of it and they will want to join. So I'm going to leave you just with how I invite people to my home BP. I'm going to let you take a screenshot of that rather than me tell you, but I keep it really informal. My team send the same messages. Whatever event you're making it into, and you just adapt it. So whoever it is, whether it be people, mummies, dads, business people, do the lot. So I'm going to pass you over now to another manager in the business who is G. She is the busiest person that I know. And if anybody can grow a business around it, then G can. Do about 10, 15 case credits just in retail each month. So she's a phenomenal business to learn from. So I'm going to pass you over to her now. Again, it's her first time speaking, so be nice, be gentle. Thank you.
Thank you, lovely. Hello everyone, can you all hear me? Yeah, okay. So my name's G Cochran and my background's hairdressing. I've been hairdressing for 35 years. The first sort of 20 were in the salon, the last 15 have been working from home and also mobile. I've always loved my job. So when I was offered the opportunity, it was not something that I actually really wanted at all. But what I was too polite to say no, so I said yes anyway, and then it sort of started. So I've still got four very busy kids, and at the time we sort of competed at a high level in endurance riding, which does take up an awful lot of time as well. But what I realised was that actually in my day job I'd actually got quite stale, so Forever sort of saved me from that, because it had got the most exciting thing I was doing in my day job was changing a colour or putting a fringe in. So what it did do was bring something new to the table there, which also did give me lots of other options. So 5 years into the business, I've got a lovely team, really enjoy what I do. And the personal development has been massive, because when I joined, I wouldn't even drive on the motorway and I wouldn't get up for a raffle prize. So now to think I've travelled solo halfway around the world and also here, standing here, is massive. So I will go on to my next bit. Oh, that is me. Okay, so why do we do sizzle? To create team spirit, get all the team together, and I think for me it's to build friendships and also to socially grow some people. We share ideas, plan online launches, and that's something we do quite a lot on our VIP group as a team. So basically it gets everybody together. We've done lots of events together, and I think what they do is if I can't do it with them, they'll share each other's sort of friendships and do it together. We've done breast cancer events, we've done farmers markets together, and I think they sort of like that because they've built the bond with others. So again, it massively builds confidence in you and your leaders, and it's a safe environment to actually ask questions. We develop leaders, let them grow and take part, because sometimes, a bit like me, didn't want to say anything, do anything, and it is that safe environment where they can do exactly what they want. Inspire and motivate, and again, I think that's what has worked as well, because some of them think that their ideas aren't particularly clever, but when they see that they've inspired others, it gives them the sort of chance to actually open up and say other things. Recognise achievement, and I think that's one of the big ones. We do quite a lot on recognising achievement, and I definitely think that's the thing that helps to grow with a team sizzle. And everyone loves recognition, and I think that again for me as well was what helped. We create and raise expectations, and it also maximises your time. And again, like the other two have said, it's really sort of difficult sometimes when you've got a busy life to actually fit it all in, but doing a team sizzle, they all come together and they all have fun, and we definitely have fun. And I always say if you can laugh together, you can build businesses together. So where and when? Basically, most of them are done at my home. We have sort of flitted a bit about, so we can suit other people, but mainly in my home. And when we have it is twice a month on a Tuesday night. One week we have it at my house, the next time we're at a BP locally, and then back to my house. So a month we see each other every Tuesday. So again, it builds up that rapport. And also anyway we can get together. Sometimes obviously travel, baby care can also be an issue, so we'll use that to whatever we need to do. How long? Well, once we had an all-nighter, which I don't recommend because that took some doing, and so I think the advice is don't offer alcohol. So mainly 1 to 2 hours, and we always have half an hour just chit-chat over anything really. So what do we cover? 4 CCs and how to do it. Everyone's got their own way of doing it, and I think it's really good to share how you do it. Obviously, Sarah just mentioned I do a lot of retail, but it's also good to show them how I retail. Writing your forever story, that again is something that takes a bit of time, and I think when you can share it in that private environment, it's really good. I mean, I remember hating it at first, having to do that, and I'd do anything rather than say that. But again, that's given me the confidence to also help with that. Favourite product story, again, everybody's got their favourite product story, but what is good for new people that are on the team, they can pinch somebody else's favourite product story. They can also share somebody else's actual journey. So again, it's also good to keep that talking. Expanding your who do you know list. Again, we have to share that, and different people have got different ways of doing it. I mean, I love my networking group, and I think it's inspired my team to actually go and do that, to gain new people to their list too. Methods of prospecting, again, that's another way of sort of discussing how we're going to do it, and again, everybody does it in different ways. I know one of my team, she's got a very different way of doing it, and the others have actually taken that on board, and it just does good to share these things. Planning and goal setting, again, something that if you do it together, you're becoming more accountable for what you need to do. And I think what they do is each time they see them, how's it going? And it does help them in what they want to achieve as well, because they want to also have that recognition again. Volume mapping, again, we have done it as a group, and it does work because each of us have different things going on each month, and everybody pinches ideas off everyone else. Duplicating, again, if they see how it's done, they are quite happy to do it to their own teams and do it with them. Incentives, how to use forever incentives to grow your business. I didn't really look at the incentive book for quite a long way in, but now we have sort of nights where we actually go through this and look at that incentive book, and also just have team incentives that we're able to do as well. Customer care, this is a big one. Everybody again has different ideas. The last one we did on Tuesday was sort of working out how we did gift vouchers for retail customers for the Christmas period, and again, everybody had a little bit of a different input into that. So what to cover? So we've got loads of enthusiasm. I think something that we've all got in our team is lots of enthusiasm, and I think that's good because you want it is in a bouncy, positive atmosphere. Greet everyone whenever they come in. Make sure they've got a nice greeting. I mean, sometimes it's with my dogs as well, but you do want to give everyone that little bit of love when they come in. Offer pens and paper. Pens and paper, I know most people bring their own, but it's also good to have it there. Nibbles, I think, is one of the things they all love. Sometimes I get them to bring their own, sometimes I just supply them all, but it gives them a purpose if they're bringing their own. We share a success story, and I think this is really good because I try and find something for that everybody's done in the last 2 weeks to make sure that they also feel like they've had some success, which wants them to keep them bringing back each time. Recognitions, again, when I've got a newbie, they always have a lovely welcome card and a little bottle of something. Also recognitions for something that people have really excelled at, and they look forward to that. A book, CD, or a recommendation. It's a bit like a library. They're coming and going. They bring different books, different CDs on what they've done in the last fortnight. And again, to share I think it's always better to share something that they've always had. Positivity. Definitely keep it all positive. I mean, obviously you're always going to have a little moan, but we try and keep that to the end and discuss it in the private bit. And games are something we try and do, and weirdly we do pass the parcel, which seems to work well. And what we do each time is inside each wrapper there is either something they have to do, which can be a couple of burpees or whatever, and it just gets them interactive, or it's how many cc's for a propolis cream, but it just gets them a bit excited and just have a bit of fun. We always announce the next meeting, so everybody knows when it is. I mean, it does work, but sometimes it's a 5-week month, but we just make sure it's clear exactly when it is. We get team to do one of the above, to bring something, whether it's a book or whatever they need to bring. And, we've done various things at it. I mean, once we had, there was quite a few newbies who were all slightly nervous about what they were going to be doing and how they couldn't talk to somebody, so we had a night where actually we all played being somebody else, and it sticks in my mind now that one of my team members is still Kylie Minogue, and she's still got the gold hot pants, and secretly that's what we nickname her, is Kylie. So again, I think Team Sizzles are really good for that. So to end, I asked my team in one word what they liked and what they got from Team Sizzle. So we have had knowledge, friendship, nibbles, support, laughter, loving, family, comfortable, and last but no means least is funny. So I think that's really good, and that just sums up about Sizzles. And I will pass back to Sam.
I can take my headphones off now. Oh, that was great. It's so lovely hearing as well how it has all kind of been duplicated within our group. So has everybody got lots of ideas from that as well? Has it been helpful? We were so worried in case nobody came to our pod, so thank you. You've made us feel a little bit loved, which is great. But what I'd also just love to end with is, building this business can be so simple. We can really overcomplicate things. We can quite often all feel like we're not successful enough, or we're not rocketing through the marketing plan. So how can we possibly bring a group of people together and teach and help those people? And the truth is, you can all do it. As long as you're passionate, you want to be here, you've got some goals, you can just get a room full of, it might just be one person with you, it might be 2 people, 3 people within your team, or even cross-line. You can do these events with other people that are working in your area who might be part of someone else's team, but you can still create that connection and that team spirit. And one of the lovely things about doing these home sizzles or coffee mornings is seeing your team grow in self-development. And G was absolutely right. No way would she have got up here before, would she, Di? I remember her not even going up to get that raffle ticket that she spoke about as well. In fact, I think Di went to do it. So seeing the self-development within your team is absolutely phenomenal, and recognising their promotions as they're moving through that marketing plan as well, even from 4cc or their first drinking gel sale, you'll see them start to flourish because they're achieving something, and there's a room of people who are like-minded cheering them on, being their cheerleaders, and that's what you need to create. And you will see people start to rise through the marketing plan because of that environment that you can create. Even if you're lacking in the confidence yourself, which I was. I remember my first sizzle, Natalie was like, right, Sam, off you go, you need to do this. I thought, oh my goodness, I don't have a clue what to do. But she gave me a list of ideas like you saw on G's slides, and we got to work, and my team started helping me do little slots, just like in this 45 minutes. Sarah and G were very grateful when I said that they could come and help me out today. But that is self-development, or helping your team grow, and offloading some of the pressure as well, because I hate doing anything like this. My first team sizzle had a migraine all day because I was just so nervous about it, so anxious about it. But as soon as you open that door, like G said, you greet people and you just step into that zone and become that person to try and help the people that you have invited to forever. So it's our job and our responsibility as their upline to give them somewhere to come, something to be part of, and an opportunity to take those baby steps every day, surrounded by people that are there holding their hands as well. So amazingly, we have got a few minutes spare, so if anybody's got any questions, the girls can come and sit on the stage as well, because you might have some for them rather than me. But yeah, if anyone's got any questions, you might need to shout. Oh, yeah. What was in your gift bag, Sarah?
So I put a business magazine. They will have a few samples. They might have something like an aloe lips, a hand sanitizer. There'll be an aloe life, and there will be a product brochure as well.
Very, very simple. To show what, sorry? How to engage with PT. Okay, so how to engage with people like PTs, like hairdressers. What would you two suggest being in the industry?
Brave.
Yeah.
I had to be very brave to speak to Sarah.
I'm not scary. I don't know why.
She was. I thought she'll hate the clean 9.
She thought I was going to make her do 100 burpees. For me, it was speak to me about the health benefits. Don't go down the weight management route, because I did have a preconceived idea, which I actually was completely wrong on.
I remember
the
her
C9.
inspecting the shake pouches.
Yeah, she asked me to do a C9. I was like, I don't do things like that. They're fad diets. And actually, I had to eat my words afterwards. But I would definitely go down the health route for me. Speak to people, you can benefit your customers with their health. You can also, if they're self-employed, for us, the biggest thing is our business is so up and down. So it will bridge the gap for when you are quiet. So really focus on that one. So it will, it'll increase your income those months when your clients are cancelled, your class is quiet. That was what it was for me. That's what I needed to bridge income for.
So forever covered those harder months in your PT, didn't they?
Yeah, definitely.
G, how about speaking to hairdressers?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not into retail. I would never have done anything like this. But I think what I realised was if you're going to go and prospect other hairdressers, which I have done as well, is just to show them what I've done, which was basically you just talk to people, use the products, and just tell them what you've actually done. I mean, if I've got a client in, I say, "How are you?" and they'll say, "Well, actually," and there's your total. You're straight away in. And so basically, I think some people think that they've got to replace their sort of day income with forever income, but actually some people just want to supplement it. So it's a great way, instead of trying to get them out of the job that they actually love, is just to actually supplement what they're doing. So you're just basically adding another service, which is an add-on. Same with the beauty industry. You're dealing with people in quite an intimate way. So it's a good way of just sort of sharing that with them.
How did you overcome your shyness? I'm just saying that on here so everyone else can hear. We had to force her.
I think it just comes with time. You just have to keep doing it. I think for me, one of the big things was a networking group. That was what did it for me. And I always say that the first time I went, I didn't realise I'd got to stand up and do 60 seconds. And it was actually a hairdresser that was there. She said, "You'll be fine." And I stood there, and honestly, I often laugh. She had to rub the back of my leg because my legs were going like this. And she rubbed it all the way through my 60 seconds, which actually didn't last 60 seconds. It lasted 20. It was like, I'm from aloe vera and that's it. And that's me done. And honestly, and I've never missed a meeting since, and I've been there,
That
and
is
now
the
I
importance.
actually run it.
That is the importance of your home events and things as well,
Yeah.
though. So like, I think G said, asking people to share their favourite products in your sizzle. So just go around the room. It's like a little bit of an icebreaker. So your newer team will literally just say something for 10 seconds, but it just starts to get people feeling comfortable with speaking in front of a few people in that safe environment. So they do get more used to going and doing product launches, or then perhaps sharing a testimonial at a business presentation. I remember the asked me to speak at a webinar, actually. I cried because I didn't want to do it. But I had to. Any more questions?
How do you overcome your chicken list?
You don't.
You don't.
You
I
just
still
get
have a
with your
chicken
friends.
list, and it's a really long chicken list. It's just do it. But to be fair, the first time I did my chicken list was around Sam's kitchen table, and the same with my team. I wouldn't have ever done it on my own, so it is part of that team spirit, whether it be in your planning meetings, your team sizzles, wherever it is, take your chicken list there, because you will do it, because somebody will force you.
And do it because they will become managers in your business and worth a really nice income as well.
Just quickly say about the chicken list, I had somebody on my chicken list, and one of my team members phoned them, and they're now a distributor under my team.
No. Yeah, so get in there quick before somebody else does. So he had somebody on his chicken list, and his team member actually got there first. And actually, a couple of times, because me and Sam are in the same area and know the same people, many a time she said, speak to so-and-so before I do, you've got a week.
I'll do that with quite a lot of my team as well, actually.
But it works. It does work. So again, it's that team motivation.
So Vicky's not in here at the moment, she's coming this afternoon. But we're in a coffee shop, just catching up after the school run, working our businesses together. And there was a mum on the table behind. I said, right, Vicky, there's a mum over there. She looks really friendly. She's got 2 babies with her. If you don't go and speak to her, I will. And she's going to be a manager in our team somewhere. So do you want to go and speak to her? So she's like, oh gosh, I can't leave without doing it now. And sometimes, you just have fun with it. If she hadn't have done it, it wouldn't matter. I wouldn't tell her off. And I probably would have been petrified to go and speak to her myself as well. So it actually makes me do it because I have to be the leader and do these things. But I have recruited through doing that as well while I've been sat with another team member. And she did. And she gave this mum the card as she left. And she phoned me from a car saying, oh my God, Sam, I'm shaking. I can't believe I just did that. I was like, but do you know what? You walked out and that lady was sat smiling, looking at your card. You've made her feel good for the day. You've left somebody with a nice feeling. And it is just doing those little bits, stepping out your comfort zone together. Any more questions? Which card? It was actually on the QLS stationery website. I can't think what my nerves are. It's one of the smile cards, yes, and there's various different ones on there. So I think there's like one for mums. Okay. Yes. Yeah, so it's basically a work from home card with different areas of income, and basically she just said, I'm a mum, I help other mums work from home as well. My number's on here, have a little look through. If you're curious or want to know more, send me a WhatsApp or give me a call and I can pop you some information over. Then she legged it. Oh, quick, get me out of here. So, thank you very much, everybody. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Success Day. Thanks for coming and listening to us. And see you soon. Claire.